I haven't done a video in so long. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, I'm Chloe and I spend about 10 months out of the year obsessing over Halloween Horror Nights. So if you too spend the majority of your time thinking of an event that happens only 2 months out of the year, then welcome. Today, usually I have my friend Will with me, but he's not here and I was bored and I haven't made a video in ages, and I was like, you know what, I may as well just get cracking on this. Okay, so today what I want to talk about is I want to just have like a discussion about the latest like speculation map that Horror Night Nightmares brought out. So for those of you that don't know, every year a Twitter account, I don't know if they're just a Twitter account, but these guys that know everything about Horror Nights seemingly release a speculation map, and they've started doing like a couple like coming up to the event. And it's just like rumors and speculation from all of their sources that they've heard things from, and they put it all on a map. So I wanted to talk about that. I also want to like compare it to the first map that was brought out last year, so we can kind of see, okay, how accurate were they, and like how much was different and what got changed and blah blah blah. So we're just going to start with that, and I'm going to like discuss other rumors that have happened around the map as well. So buckle up and get your tea or your Coca-Cola or whatever you have on, and let's get cracking into this. So I printed out the map because I'm using my phone, so here it is. So first things first, the very first thing on the map is Chucky. As we all know, I think at this point, because they announced it on like the last day of the event last year, Chucky, the sci-fi series, is definitely coming to the event. So that's very exciting, except for the fact that I still haven't seen the program because we can't get it over here in Ireland, and it's driving me crazy. So that's annoying, but I love the Chucky series, or I love the Chucky franchise. I love Jennifer Tilly, really, that's who I really love. I love Tiffany, and if she's not in the series, I know that she like tweets all the time, like I'm assuming Jennifer Tilly is in it, but I don't know in what capacity. But basically, if Tiffany does not feature in this house, I will be upset, and if she's not on the merch, like, forget about it. But anyway, that's definitely happening, so that's the first thing that's on the map, so it's not really to talk about there. I still want to make a video talking to Will about this and how he feels. But we've, to be honest with you, been trying to figure out a way to watch it over here. Anyone that's like based in Ireland or the UK, if you've been able to watch it, can you like comment down below and tell me how you did that? Because I really want to watch it. I don't know how. I'm literally like trying to give streaming services my money, and they're like, oh wait, no, you're not in America. Sorry. So anyway, Chucky, number one, definitely coming. That's done. Okay, the next thing then is the old reliable Universal Monsters house. So this year, so on the map it says Phantom versus Dracula. That rumor sort of started circulating a couple of weeks ago when Legacy, who's another rumor like account, he tends to put rumors out in the form of riddles or like clues kind of thing, he calls them. And he put out Phantom versus Dracula. So I'm wondering, okay, did they put this on the spec map because Legacy said that it was rumored? Was Legacy being real about that? Like, did he really hear that, or was that a red herring? Like, so I don't know, but a lot of people are talking about this like definitely happening. A lot of people think that this could be really true. John Murdy tweeted out like, why would the Phantom fight Dracula? And like, I don't know what that, I don't think that means anything, because like if you think of last year, the two coasts, Hollywood and Orlando, had the same kind of three monsters fighting each other in the house, but originally during the year Orlando was going to have, I think, the Mummy and Wolfman, and then I think Hollywood was going to have Dracula and the Wolfman, or something like that. But eventually they were like, here, we may as well sit down and do a house kind of together. And then they did a storyline that ran throughout the houses on both coasts. They did like a part one and a part two. Apparently it didn't really make much sense, because I didn't see the Hollywood one, but people that did were like, this doesn't make any sense, the Orlando one, especially because one of the characters dies at the end of the part one house in Orlando, so it never made sense. But I'm thinking John Murdy wouldn't know, or he wouldn't, like, you know what, he wouldn't know at this point if we were getting a Phantom and Dracula house. So I think that's just him being himself, which I love him for. I think he's great. He's good crack on Twitter. But then the other question is, why do they keep bringing Dracula back, and why won't they give us the creature from the Black Lagoon? Like, he was in the very first Universal Monsters house we had in Orlando. Not that I live in Orlando, I'm in Ireland right now. I just call that the wee one because that's the one I always go to. He was in, very briefly, the original Universal Monsters house. So they can use him and they can do something with him, but for some reason they've avoided using him in the last while, like in the whole rest of the event. One of my theories is that I did read somewhere recently that Rob Zombie is at some point planning on doing a reboot or some sort of remastered version of the Creature from the Black Lagoon movie. So I'm wondering if Universal are waiting for him to do that before they use the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but like there's nothing happening with that yet. That's literally just Rob Zombie being like, I love creatures, so I want to do a movie. So I don't know. That's like my theory. That's like the only thing I can think of. Other than that, I don't know why they're not using him. But yeah, so that's on the map, and it was rumored by Legacy as well. So there's like 2 sources that are putting that down. So that's interesting. Then the next thing is The Last of Us. Specifically the television show, I think, which again, I haven't been able to watch because I can't get it in Ireland on any streaming services. But Will, I know when he hears about this, he'll be so excited because he's played the game and he loves it. I do play games, but I haven't played The Last of Us because it's too dark for me. I like playing Breath of the Wild and Stardew Valley. So I haven't played it. I don't really know anything about it except that there's things called bloaters and clickers, and it's like survival, zombie, that kind of carry on. Like I know a good bit about it, and the Mandalorian lad is in it. He's cool. But that's rumored here. But let's have a look here. Speculation map number 1 from last year also had The Last of Us on it. Okay, so one of the rumors going around is that the Descendants of Destruction house from last year was supposed to be originally The Last of Us. So it was rumored last year and then it didn't come. But the Descendants of Destruction had a lot of kind of mushroomy looking lads in there, and there was a few things in there that I think could have been used in The Last of Us house. Like that's the rumor. I only heard that really recently. Like I didn't hear that last year that it got pulled. We just saw it on the speculation map and then it like disappeared. It just went away from the speculation maps and it didn't come to the event. But if you know the game and if you know the series and if you were at the event last year, like what do you think? Do you think that the 2 look like they could have been one and the same? When I was on the Unmasking the Horror tour last year, I asked my tour guide a question. I was like, does every IP house have a backup house in the form of an original? And he said yes. So if you're taking that, then I don't think Descendants of Destruction was just shoehorned in and like filled out with stuff, you know, to make it not look like The Last of Us. Like I think they probably did have a completely original idea. But that's one of the rumors going around. What do you guys think? Like, do you think they'll be the same? I think it's very likely that we'll get it this year, like especially since if it was pulled last year, they probably will try and get it this year. So like it's probably ready to roll. And I'm happy with it. Like to be honest with you guys, at this point, like I don't really care what comes to the event. I'm just happy to be there. Well, maybe I have a few things that I care about. But anyway, so The Last of Us on the map this year, on the map last year, possibly at the event last year, but disguised. So that's interesting. Ooh. The next one then is an original that I'm super excited about. So it's Krampus, not the movie, because they did that in 26, which I didn't see. And I'm raging because apparently that was amazing. Like that's the house that everyone goes on about. But Krampus as an original, like bad Santa, or not bad Santa, basically like if Rob Zombie was Santa Claus. That's kind of what I think Krampus is. But I would be incredibly excited about this. I think it'd be really cool. I don't know, like they'd obviously. Last year they came up with their own version of what a chupacabra looked like, so I would be really excited to see what their version of Krampus looked like, and what they would do with the storyline and everything. So Krampus is like, yeah, he's like the anti-Santa. He's like if Satan was Santa, I guess, and he like, you know, I think he like steals kiddos or kills them, or he definitely does more than give them coal anyway. But that's rumored. The next one that's rumored is an anchor. It's just a picture of an anchor. Horror Night Nightmares tweeted out at the end of spec season last year. They were like, do you guys want us to keep telling you exactly what we think is coming to the event on the map, or do you want us to keep it like a little bit more guessing in it? Because like those of us that are like following the speculation stuff during the year, everything is pretty much known in May. Like by May, June, we like definitely know it's coming to the event for the most part. and it kind of takes some of the like fun out of it in a way. You're kind of like, when you get to the event, you're kind of like, yeah, I've known about this for months, even though it only just got announced. But I think that's what they're doing here with some of them. They're trying to be a bit vague, which I'm all for. But it's an anchor, and it says original house underneath. So, like, kind of looks like they're heading towards a sequel to Dead Man's Pier from last year, which would make sense because that was so popular. Like, everybody loved that. I loved it too, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I did love it. It was amazing. But I definitely don't want them to do that. If that makes sense. So I don't know. Apparently there's an odd red herring in here, so I don't know if that's one of them. My guess is that it's mermaids. Do I want a mermaid house? Yes, I do. I probably isn't, but like, I really wish, I hope it's mermaids. So that's what I think it could be. The next thing then is another one that was rumored ages ago. Wasn't really rumored. The girl who plays Megan in the movie Megan that came out a couple of months ago, like, tweeted out that she can't wait for Horror Nights this year. So she she kind of gave it away, which is kind of funny. The Weeknd did something similar last year. It was kind of funny. But this one is the Blumhouse house, and it would be Megan and Insidious. And I think they're bringing out a new Insidious this year, so I'm gathering it's that one. I haven't seen Megan yet. I don't think the new Insidious is out yet. I don't think Insidious is scary, by the way. People think Insidious is real scary. I thought Sinister was terrifying, but I didn't think Insidious was good, to be honest. So I think it'll be a good house though, for sure. I think this will be a good house. It'll be like last year, because apparently Megan is kind of like more like a dark comedy horror type thing. So I feel like that would be the freaky of the Blumhouse house this year, and then Insidious would be the Black Phone kind of version of it. I have way higher hopes for Blumhouse this year than I did last year. Like, the Black Phone in Blumhouse last year was whopper. Like, it was so good. It was like one of the houses that genuinely scared me, and like, that doesn't really happen to me anymore. The Bug House was like a different sort of situation. I didn't even look when I was in there. I only went in because Will wanted to go in. But anyways, that's another IP. So far on the map for IPs, we've got Chucky, which is a definite, The Last of Us, and Megan and Insidious, which is Blumhouse, that I'm going to just consider 3 rather than 4. Okay, so then we've got another, whatchamacallit, original, Lair of the Banshee. This would obviously be very good for me because I'm Irish, and Banshee is an Irish and urban legend. If anybody has seen the film Darby O'Gill and the Little People, there is a Banshee in that film, and she terrifies me to my core ever since I was a kid. That is the scariest thing to me. Like, it's not even like, I don't think a new age Banshee would scare me, but like the old style, weird old multicolored bad CGI like woman brushing her hair and screaming terrifies me. So I would love to see this. It's based on, well, we would assume it's based on the Scare Zone they did years ago, which I didn't see. I think it was at 26 as well. That was the year before I started going back to the event, so I missed 26. But apparently it wasn't very good, Scare Zone. But I don't think it's fair to kind of assume that because it didn't work as a Scare Zone, it wouldn't work as a house. I think sometimes one idea can work well in a house and not work well in a Scare Zone, and vice versa. So I would 100% like to see this. I don't know if this is a legit rumor or not, but I haven't heard it anywhere else. Just on this, so could be red herring, could be true. So we'll see. And then the next original one is Devil Dogs, which you couldn't have, I would never have known this. I did go through Slaughter Cinema, but I wouldn't have known that Devil Dogs was one of the films in there. Because if anyone went through that house, it was just like chaos. It was just every room was a different house. The whole idea being that the house was based on ideas that Universal Creative had for Horror Nights houses, but they didn't feel like they'd work. So they mashed them all together one year and made this B-movie kind of horror house thing. It was really cool. Well, I don't remember what Devil Dogs is. The ones I remember, which I really would like to see, are I want to see Amazon Cannibals from Planet Hell. That's the one that I remember, and I'd really like that. They kind of did the Swamp Yeti in the form of the Yeti Terror of the Yukons. They have done a Yeti house now. But Devil Dogs, I don't know if this is a legit rumor. Again, there's supposedly one of these is a red herring, and I think a lot of people are thinking that's it. But anyways, that's interesting. The next thing is another symbol, and it's an electric guitar with a thunderbolt kind of going through it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is Metallica House confirmed. It doesn't say original or anything underneath there. So, yeah, it doesn't say original underneath it. I thought it did. So, Music House anyway, because obviously the Weekend House was quite successful. I really think this might be Metallica House. I'm sorry, I thought it said original underneath. It doesn't. That's really exciting. So, another rumor I heard is that it could be, or another idea I heard, I think I heard it on the HHN365 podcast, was they were talking about Eddie from Stranger Things, because he was so popular. It might be, you know, a version of him. No, I think this might be a Metallica House. It's so exciting. Oh my gosh. I swear, I thought it said original underneath. I don't know. I'll probably show it to you guys in the corner, but like, see the way it says original here and like there, but it doesn't say it here. Metallica House confirmed. Okay, great. So we're going to go to Metallica House. That's awesome. No, I don't know, but that's one of the things on the map. So that's cool. And then the last thing is written in what I believe to be kanji. I kind of went online and had a bit of a look around. So I'll show you this actually as well. Where are we? There we go. So this one, this is an original. So as far as I can gather from what I found on the internet, these first two symbols together mean Japan. So I couldn't figure out what these ones were, but I would like to see a haunted ryokan house. Please and thank you, Universal. So that's the map. If anyone, by the way, can translate this, if anyone has already, I don't think anyone has here. Please leave it in the comments down below because that would be very interesting. I think someone put it through Google Translate and it came out as survivors, but I don't know if they were using the right, like, alphabet. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, that's it. Then the only other thing is the shows, and that's Nightmare Fuel, which, like, it's great when you sit down, and it's a great show. It's a great show. It's a really good show, but it's a one and done. Like, if you're someone like who goes to the event for the house and scare zones, you do this to sit down, you see it once, and then you're done. I definitely want to see the Lagoon show back this year because I missed it last year because I had gotten trashed by the hurricane and they hadn't fixed it. So I haven't even seen any videos of it actually. I need to kind of look that up. Anywho, that's the map. So it's now, tomorrow it's March. When I put this out, it'll be March. And we have the first map. Let's look at the maps we got last year. So here we go. So yeah, the first house we got on the spec map last year was the Mummy versus Wolfman. So that we believe was true, even though that didn't actually happen. It was the Mummy Wolfman and Dracula. The rumor mill was saying that the two coasts, Hollywood and Orlando, talked together and they decided to do a mashup house. So that technically was true. So spec map number one, we do have something that's true. The second one is Seaside Village, and they wrote it as an original. That was true as well, because we ended up getting Dead Man's Pier. So that's interesting. Then the next one that was rumored was Fear Street, and that didn't happen. So I don't know if that was something that was kind of just speculation and it wasn't ever going to happen. Like, I never heard anything about Fear Street again. But that was an IP that was on the map that really no one had heard anything about. There was no rumors or anything around it, and it never came true. So that's interesting. Then The Last of Us, as I talked about already, was on the map last year. That was kind of talked about last year, and then it just sort of disappeared off the map the next time. Yeah, the second map's not on it. So I'm gathering they had it, and then it got pulled quick enough for them to put Descendants of Destruction together and make it not look like a sort of shoehorned in The Last of Us replacement. So that was probably true at the time. The next one is The Curse of Pandora's Box. That is something that Hollywood had before. That was only on that map, was it? It was only on the first map. The next one is an original that was true. So far we've got two true things. One thing that we think was pulled, and no, three true things. One thing that we think was pulled, and two things that just were on the first map and then disappeared. So it's El Chupacabra. So obviously that came last year. Fiesta del Chupacabra. Anyway, that's my favorite house. Then we got Underground Creatures as an original. We also got that on this one. Okay, so then Underground creatures, we kind of assumed was Descendants of Destruction, and that obviously makes sense because the whole house was underground. But Underground Creatures and The Last of Us is on the same map. So then maybe Descendants of Destruction was never The Last of Us. I don't know, lads. I'm confused. I don't know where to believe with all these rumours and stuff. Anyway, that was on the map, and that was true. Underground Creatures, I'm pretty sure, was Descendants of Destruction, so that's grand. The Evil Dead Rise. Well, the Evil Dead was on this map. It was also on... No, it wasn't on this one. Okay, the Evil Dead was on the first map, but then it wasn't on the second map. Interesting. Because... Where is this one? Yeah, okay. So, interesting that it wasn't on the second map, because when did this one come out? Depending on when the second one came out, I know it was late enough, but it wasn't that late. Another thing that my tour guide told us when we were on the Unmasking the Horror tour was that they only had 3 weeks to put together Hellblock Horror last year, which, as everybody at this point knows, it was a house that was rumoured to have been Evil Dead Rise, and then at the very last second it got yanked out from underneath them and they had to redo it as Hellblock Horror. But that was only on the first map. So, okay. If you look at this map from this year, from 32, the first one with Chucky and everything on it, and we look at last year's first map, the Evil Dead was true. We're going to say the Evil Dead was true, but it got pulled. So that means that things like The Last of Us and Blumhouse could still be pulled. So it doesn't mean that they're like locked in yet, because I think a lot of people kind of take now the spec map as gospel, and by the time you get to the end of it, like, they're right. But, you know, there are things that change. The next thing that's on the old spec map from last year, the first one, is Halloween. That was locked in, I guess, from the start. So they did know about that one, so that was correct, because that was there. And then The Weeknd. But again, The Weeknd had let it slip really early last year that he was coming to Horror Nights. So that must have been where the HNN people got their rumour from. And that must be why they put it on the map. I don't know, maybe, I don't know where they get the information. But that could be right. So if we look at the two maps side by side, yeah, pretty darn good chance that what they have on the map here, unless they're lying about something, that it's pretty accurate. So that's interesting. Alright, so that was a big long discussion about the HHN32 speculation maps. There are a couple of other things kind of circulating at the moment. The latest thing is Legacy has been quite chatting on Twitter this year, and he is now saying that everything that he had kind of originally heard with all his clues the last few weeks, and like with this spec map coming out, is now thrown back up in the air. So apart from Chucky, that could be anything. It could be the two things that we think we know, which is The Last of Us and Megan, and Insidious. Maybe they're not happening anymore. Or it could be stuff that, it could be Metallica. Metallica, I swear to God, you better not back out Metallica. I love that. Yeah, so basically we don't really know anything now. If you think that like Legacy is now saying, well, actually all that information might actually be totally gone now, so hold your horses, lads. I don't know. But this is the map we have this year. So Chucky, definitely. The Last of Us, maybe. Megan and Insidious, a very likely maybe. And then a whole bunch of other crap, maybe. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah, so I just wanted to get this video out there because I wanted to start getting in on the conversation, because I'm always late. And I just kind of sit at home and I gather all my facts, and then I make a random video one day beside my new leopard print wall. But yeah, the next video will hopefully be a sort of a rundown of me and Will's, like, what we thought of the event last year. If you do want to get our sort of first reactions to the event, I did do a couple of vlogs. So if you want to go into this playlist here, or here, one of these playlists, or actually, you know what, go up here. Yes, that's right, go up here, and it'll bring you to the video vlog I did of me and Will running around Horror Nights and giving our first impressions of things. But hopefully we'll do another video soon. I would like to do another video when the next spec map comes out / announcement. I would like the dates to be announced, please, because I need to plan my holiday and I need to get my vacation time at work. So I need to get that sorted pretty quick. But yes, thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments or, you know, theories or conspiracies that you want to put down below about this year's event, fire away. I'd love to hear them. I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy Halloween.